Hey, let me tell you about the sound of my bass. Well, before I get started, for all of you perfect pitch Nazis out there, let me tune it.
Okay.
You know,
Okay,
one
all right.
idea, guy that runs the channel 65 drums, he always starts out with the topic, then he plays the intro. You know? It's a...
That could work.
That could.
That could work.
But anyway, let's just do this. So anyway, that was Nick Bruno. This I don't think I've ever really done anything on this bass on this channel. So this is the bass that I usually play with Dovydas because it's really easy to play. This is, as I told you earlier, my basses are not normal. This bass was actually I had a new neck put on for my regular sized hands, because most bass players have what are called alien fingers. They're these huge fingers, and you can play amazing stuff with these big fingers. And of course, they're usually the best bass players. But you see, the strings are like this far apart, and well, why make it hard on myself? So I had a new neck built, and thanks to the Pollman team, Michael Kramer, president of Pollman, made me this wonderful neck, sent it to me, and then I had it finished here in Sarasota. But this neck makes it really, really easy to play this bass, because this bass is really a killer bass. It's called a Pollman bass. But what I did is I linked it up to this Boss ME80 processor right here, and this processor was picked up the day before the video that went viral with the cigar box bass. And anyway, I really didn't know much about it, still really don't, but I found a sound I like, and I programmed it into memory, and I just use it. So because and when we're recording with Dovydas, he has another bass that is on his synthesizer that I'm playing along with. So anyway, but here's the sound that I get on this. This is just the bass acoustically. Oh, by the way, I'm not a trained bass player. Never went to college on this. Just started with fretless in 1979, and this is just a giant fretless bass to me. So let me turn the volume up. There we go. Now here's my sound. And then, without the bow, let's get a really good sound here. Now, when I'm playing distortion and doing solos, you're going to see some more videos coming out with me playing distortion on this. But this sound has a little bit of distortion in it. So when I play real hard, you can hear that distortion out of this sound. But I got to play it really hard. Where most basses, when you play them really hard, they get bassier. Well, this one gets distorted. This way it doesn't interfere with the low frequencies coming from the keyboards, because in my opinion the keyboard bass should be the lowest frequency on the on our videos. Also, now that we've introduced this electronic drum set, it's a Roland TD30KV as in Victor, and and soon to be upgraded to a TD50, and this belongs to Nick. So he's got some presets on here that go really, really low, down as low as, for you numbers guys, 20 hertz or even lower.
Yeah, that's 16 hertz.
So anyway, the sound I've got on this bass is mostly, it peaks out in the low mid-range about 100 hertz to 120, where most basses are giving you about 80 hertz. Anyway, I'm kind of a numbers guy, but again, I'm not a real upright player, even though I do play classical music. I sight read and do all that good stuff. To me, this is, I don't know, this is kind of like an extension of my hand now. I've had this bass for maybe 20 years, and I just love it. It's a cool bass. Now let me shut off the effects. I forgot how to shut off the effects. I think this is how I do it. Let's see. Is that, no, that's not how I do it. This one? Is that it?
I don't know.
I'll go figure. Anyway, I really don't know how to. I know how to turn the volume down.
That's funny.
Oh well, I guess we're going to be stuck with this. Here, let me just shut the volume off.
Shut the volume.
Now, let's let the sound adjust a little bit on my iPhone. So some of you upright players, again, this is a pizzicato bass. I play lots of bow stuff, but the whole purpose of this bass is so I can play pizzicato. And because it is a carved bass, this whole entire thing was carved out of a tree. Here's the, they actually had a piece of a tree, I think it was a birch tree or something. It came out of the forest in Germany, and it was approximately a slice about this big. And it was a huge, thing, maybe 4 feet in circumference. And then they would carve out. They would just start honing out the inside of this thing, and then over time, they would slowly carve this thing until you had a piece of wood that's about 1/4 of an inch thick, maybe less, maybe 1/8 of an inch. And I'm not really. I wasn't too up on things when I first got this, and it had a knot in it somewhere. Yeah, right down here, there's some knots. I went, oh, look at that, a knot, and I pressed on it, right down there, and my finger went right through the bass. So this is not a bass that you can stand on. Again, this is a carved piece of wood, and there's a wonderful bassist named John Patitucci. He's got, or had, I believe, this same exact bass called a Verona model. And again, the company's called Pollman. Again, wonderful carved instrument. And then on the bass, to get this sound, I have a very special pickup. This is called a Fishman full circle pickup. Let me move that out of the way. Yeah, this is the pickup right here. And what I did is, in this foot, this is called a David Gage bass bridge. Very, very expensive bridge. Came with the bass when I got it. You don't want to know what I paid for this thing. Anyway, this bridge has a really big screw in it that is adjustable. And so what I did is I replaced the nylon screw that was in there with a piece of metal. And it's a large piece of metal, and then I drilled inside the piece of metal, or had a machine shop do that. And so this is a very high intensity pickup. And oh, I know how to turn the effect off. All I have to do is just pull the plug out and plug the bass in direct. There we go. There we go. All right. So anyway, here's how the pickup works all by itself. And this is just turned up a little bit. Really, this is flat. Very even sound. Again, carved bass, much more sensitive, gets a lot more frequency. Now this bass doesn't really feed back too much. You really got to push it hard to get it to feed back. I can just lay this bass down, it won't feed back or anything, and just keep it turned on, then just pick it up and go at it. But this bass allows me to do my hybrid style of slapping. You know, when you see me playing, you see my arms going up off the bass. Well, I'm not really slapping it. You know, if you have a nice bass and you want to learn how to slap, all you have to do is move your G string over, give yourself a spot, and you land your fingers right on that spot, and it gives you a slap. My hands do not hit the strings. You know, I'm not doing that, because this is a really nice bass, and I don't want to beat it too bad. So it looks like I'm beating it. So I've developed a slap style that uses my thumb. So my thumb's the only thing slapping this bass. So here's my slap. See, and that's all I'm doing. I'm just not playing, being real heavy. But again, because I got this pickup in here and the action's super low, this is really low action. It's maybe 1/4 of an inch on most of the bass. You know, some slappers have their action about a 1/2 inch off. I don't know how they do it, but I do have very heavy callous fingers because these strings are metal strings. These are made for bowing, made by the super sensitive string company right here in Sarasota, as a matter of fact. And these are really good strings. So anyway, contact me if you want any more information. I'll give you their stuff. But anyway, I got into slapping when I heard Lee Rocker. I had somebody come up to me who was just learning bass, wanted me to teach him how to slap. And now I'm going into the slap from the sound. Anyway, so he wanted me to teach him how to slap, and I'd never slapped bass in my life. So he gave me this Lee Rocker video. I watched it for 20 minutes, I guess. A couple days later, played a gig, concert in front of about 1,500 people. And the band I was with, which did various kinds of music, it was a show, they did this song called Alabama Jubilee. And I was with a fiddle player and piano and a great drummer. And anyway, Kenny Loomer on drums, Brian Girl on piano, and Lenny Ski on the fiddle. Unbelievable thing. And so we played this song, and then they just pointed to me, do a bass solo. And I said, ooh, I can try that slap thing out. So I started playing. Right about there, my whole entire arm was in pain, and I had just started the solo. I had to play through that whole entire chorus, and by the time I'm done, I'm playing. Anyway, I played the whole entire solo, and when I was done, I got a standing ovation, and all I did was play. That's all I played. But I was slapping. And life-changing. Just a life-changing moment. I said, I got to learn this stuff, because never in my life have I ever got a standing ovation from a bass solo. So that was a long time ago. It was maybe 15 years ago. So I've been developing this style, and now when I play with Dovydas, I'll do funk tunes. Would sound a lot better if there was a drummer, because that's like a yeah, and of course everyone plays funk on their upright basses, right? Well, I do. For a long time ago, one day I had my upright in the car, didn't want it to get hot, so I brought it into my gig with a band doing covers. And so I had it sitting there, and the singer went, you gonna play that? And I said, yeah, can I try it the first set? And she went, sure. So I tried it the first set. I was still playing it at the end of the night, and I felt great, and everyone loved it. So I now play this bass on most gigs, and it's just a lot of fun. And plus, I take this bass to Nashville, just the bass, no chord, bow, and go sit in with some songwriters and make lots of friends with this thing, because again, it's a really cool bass. But yeah, I love playing funk. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So again, played all sorts of different kinds of music on this bass. First song I played with Dovydas for the Blues Challenge about 3 years ago was called "Going Away to Leave," and this bass was built for that because it just starts off. And he's doing the introduction, just talking away. To slap on the bass, what does sets the audience up. It just gets people moving, you know. And also, you don't really need a drummer. You know, a lot of these bands now, they got a guy with a bass drum playing guitar too, strumming away and go boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, who needs a drummering?
Anyway, that says the drummer. Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, yeah. So this is this type of slapping or bass playing, I don't know what you want to call it, plucking. Elvis Presley was, I guess, one of the guys who had Bill Black on the bass, and Bill was all over this type of bass, except again, he had his strings like, you know, that far off the neck, and he put his whole hand under it and pull out, because they didn't really have big amplifiers back then. So anyway, so I cheat all the way. Makes things a lot easier. But anyway, speaking of making things easier, whenever you see me doing a solo on one of these videos, like let's say when I played Europa, I'd never played that song melody in my life, and again, the day I had that whatever it was called, the cigar box, I'd never played that cigar box until maybe 2 songs before that, plus it was too short. You know, see how tall this bass is? Well, this part of the neck on that cigar box was right there. So, I know where all the notes are on this bass, based off of height, you know. So anyway, it was really difficult. Then, I played just recently, I sat in with Dovydas and someone requested Black Magic Woman. Well, I know what it sounds like because I've heard it for the last gazillion years, but I've never played it. So, you know, I literally had to find the starting note and then I'm hearing the intervals in my head. So I can't really play this line on this bass. Yeah, I just can't. And so you're gonna see that on that video. But I did so much of it. It was fun. I should have used the bow. Maybe next time. If someone requests that again, I will try it on the bow, unpracticed. So you just gotta kind of deal with it. So, but yeah, but this bass is just so much fun. Again, it has a great sound. Doesn't sound like most basses. This sounds more like a cello. Back in the 60s, a gentleman named Glenn Moore owned this bass. He bought it new, 1965. He was with a band called Oregon, and if you're watching this video, I don't know if you've ever heard of Oregon. Oregon was a really cool band. Paul McCandless, I think Ralph Towner was in it, and it morphed, I guess, into the Paul Winter Consort. Anyway, this bass was on several of their first CDs, and there was this song called Icarus, and Icarus was a really cool song that was in a lot of there's a lot of background music and a lot of various TV and documentary things, but it had a cello playing this this melody. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug back in the sound, and because I love this sound. Anyways, I don't know what key the song was in, but this song Icarus goes like this. It's just a beautiful song. Yeah. And then it would go into the bridge and so on, and but this bass was playing in the background, you know, like a da 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 and then it would go into the bridge, which is a little too high for me to sing. So, but yeah, this bass was, it's got a really cool track record. And then next player to own it, Mike Bokikio, who I got it from, he actually recorded with the great Jerry Mulligan, jazz baritone sax player, and he used this for, you know, straight ahead jazz, and he was all over it. Again, that's with the old neck. And anyway, but yeah, this bass is really cool. It's a very well-known bass, and I'm so happy that I'm able to give it life, and especially on YouTube. I want everyone to hear how wonderful this bass sounds, and I hope that you all just, you know, pay attention to what I'm playing, and forgive me if you hear something you don't like, because what I'm doing is not rehearsed. It's just not my thing. See y'all later.